One of the first questions we ask ourselves when we start a composition is, what key will I use? Instinctively we consider a major or minor key. But what if we want to produce a sound outside of the major minor tonalities? What if we want to represent a mood, action or character that cannot be effectively portrayed using a major or minor key? Well, then we need to explore other tonalities. And today we are going to work through a simple technique that will help you to create your own particular sound. For those looking to compose in a style of the past 25 years, this may just be the technique required to give your composition a modern, contemporary flavour. When we look at a major or minor scale, we simply see a pattern of notes. The notes are spaced in a particular way, and from this pattern of notes, all melodic and harmonic material is derived. So, to move away from major, minor tonalities, all we need to do is create a different note pattern or group of notes. Some time ago, I composed a solo piano work called Insect Dance. To represent the angular movement of insects, I needed to create a tonality that was a little harsh, abrasive, and dissonant. I found it difficult to create this effect using conventional major and minor tonalities. So I literally played around on the piano until I stumbled across a group of notes that I thought represented the image I was trying to create. The group of notes I eventually selected was this. And once I had created my particular sound, I simply placed this pitch shape all over the keyboard, experimenting with chord progressions and sounds, transitions of chords, but they're all the same shape. Some of my experiments worked, some of them didn't, but in the end I had enough material to form a workable chord progression. From this chord progression, I proceeded as I would any other composition. I created melodic material. I experimented with rhythmic ideas, but everything evolved from the one group of notes that I stumbled across while fiddling on the piano. In effect, I chose not to use a major or minor key, and the new note pattern that I created became my tonal center. As you can see, the technique is very simple, but if done correctly, it can transform your writing. I used a similar technique in my trumpet sonata, but in this case I deliberately chose 3 notes, a perfect fifth apart, and used this group of notes as my tonal center. The reason I chose to space the notes a fifth apart is because fifths are ambiguous. They suggest conventional harmonies, but without the third, we can't determine whether the chord is major or minor. Perfect! This is exactly what we are trying to achieve. Going back to our original 3-note chord, with a bit of revoicing, I can create some chords that look and sound very similar to conventional triads. For example, if I group my 3 notes this way, C at the bottom, F, then G, I get a sus4 chord. A sus4 chord is often the term used in jazz, but you might be more familiar with the term suspension. I can manipulate my 3 notes to imitate the sounds of some conventional chords. I can do it again. If I leave the position that I had originally with the F at the base, C, then G, this resembles an F9 chord. Now we did talk about ninth chords in the blues video. Sure, the third and seventh are missing, but the basic shape and sound of an F9 chord is there. The one big difference, of course, is that while my chords may sound like C sus4s or F9 chords, they will never resolve in the conventional way. This creates a fabulous effect. Conventional harmony would have us resolve sus chords and 9 chords in a particular way. But we're not interested in conventional harmony today. We just want to select an interesting pitch pattern and develop the pattern by moving it across the keyboard, like this. Can you hear how the tonality seems to float from one chord to another, and there is no distinct tonal center? Using this progression as my basis, I added notes to the chords in the right hand and created a soaring melody for the trumpet using chord notes, passing notes, and auxiliary notes, in exactly the same way I did in the melody writing video. The more you develop as a composer, the more you will want to explore tonalities outside of major and minor keys. The technique we have looked at here today is a great way to start that journey. So to recap, 1. Select a group of notes that produce a tone or sound that you want to portray through your music. Often these chords are stumbled upon by accident. Don't overthink this process. Fool around on a piano or any instrument for that matter and see what comes. Number 2, with your newly created pitch pattern, move the shape around. Again, let your imagination run wild. Build a pattern on any note that you like, and ultimately your ear will tell you if you like the movement or not. And finally, once you've created your own chord progression, based on a tonality that you've created yourself, you simply proceed as you would with any other composition. Make some melodic material, make some rhythmic interest. You go about it the same way you would any other conventional composition.